What's going on, Detroit Lions fans? As you can see, Stephen Will back. Will is no longer in his vacation home out on the west coast of Chicago. I don't know. He might be in Chicago. He might just have a very similar setup at his Chicago home that he does in his Michigan home. Just this guy just loves the city of Chicago. He loves their pizza. He loves their football team. It's glad to have him back. I don't know what time zone he's in, but Will, what are we talking today?
Listen. I actually wasn't gonna go this route. But before we get started, number one, please hit the subscribe button because this, as you guys can see, what I got to put up with, we should be compensated for. This is a rough sailing. But this dude, for those of you who don't know, this dude is about to just step his little toesies in the realms of dad mode. If you guys watch the show, you know, Will is deep in it. I'm in deep waters, and I'm trying to let him know until he gets one of these. Until he has one of these, he can't talk. So listen. Tell him stop the harassment. I got enough stress going on at home. I don't need the extra Steve Detroit Den 3 harassment, guys. But today we're going to be talking about getting to the business. Khalil Mack, free agent, just a guy who knows all about the Detroit Lions versus Chicago Bears. I don't even know what you want to call it because it's just been ass whoopings lately. It's just been belt to ass lately for the Lions Bears games. But he knows all about the NFC North, man, and he's a free agent. So Steve, leading into that, is Khalil Mack someone that you would want as a Detroit Lion?
Let me just set the table straight here, William. All right. My daughter's unborn. All right. She's unborn. She doesn't have access to get to a store, but she will be here soon. And I get it. I have to take this serious once I get that number one dad coffee mug. All right. Once I'm in that dad gang, all bets are off. Okay. I'm going to be absolutely unbearable. If I see another guy wearing a number one dad t-shirt, I assume that's just, hey, get ready to fight because that's a title you have to fight for. No, but Khalil Mack, listen. What do we need on this team? Well, we need people who can get after the passer, right?
We do.
I think that's our number one need. I don't care if that's coming from you, me, my grandma 2 blocks over, Mama Ford up in Detroit. I don't care if it's someone ripping my ticket at the door to get in. I don't care if it's a metal detector guy. I don't care if it's a guy slinging hot dogs in the aisleway. I don't care if it's a Bud Light dealer. If you're getting after the quarterback, that is all I care about, plain and simple. When you sack the quarterback, I don't care who it was. I care that he's on his ass. Khalil Mack, the last 10 years, has been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Now, I get it. He's not a young pup. He's not an old man by any means. Listen, he's only he'll turn 34 in just like 5 days from now, actually. February 22nd, he's 33. So he'll be 34. He's not the youngest guy on the team. Same age as Kevin Zeitler. All right. He could still get it done. Kevin Zeitler got it done. I have no doubt Khalil Mack can get it done. When I look at his stats, this dude is the definition of available and consistent. All right. He's constantly putting up double digit sacks. He's coming off his worst year. I get it. So a lot of people are going to say, man, maybe, 2024 was kind of the start of his decline. Maybe it was. It could be. There is a chance of that. But what I know Brad Holmes likes to do is give those 1 year prove it deals. Hey, come to Detroit. I'll give you that Marcus Davenport deal. 1 year, $10 million. Prove it. Prove you can still get after the passer because I'll tell you this, at least I'm going to get him for more than one game like I got Marcus Davenport. So I'm all for it, but the number has to be right. I'm not giving him a 3-year deal, a 2-year deal. I'm not giving him a long-term contract. I will gladly give a 1 year prove it deal for 10 to 12 million. I think that's fair for a guy of his stature and availability. Will I kind of have an idea of where you're leaning. So how are you feeling about Khalil Mack?
I'd rather have a Big Mac.
I am kind of hungry. I could go for a Big Mac too. No pickles though. No pickles for me.
You don't mess with the pickles?
I like them, just not on Big Macs. I don't know what it is.
Actually, my kids put me on to like a double cheeseburger with mac sauce. But keeping this to, if you haven't tried it, don't knock it till you try it. But keeping this to Detroit Lions in all seriousness, Khalil Mack, man, Bill Belichick said something a while ago that really stuck with me, and it was this. He said, once a guy mentions retirement, he's retired. He just doesn't know it yet. So once a guy mentions retirement, he's retired, and he just does not officially know it yet. It's fishing around in that heart and that brain already. And at the end of the season, he said he didn't know if he was coming back next season. He didn't know. Now, since then, he said that he's going to play at least one more year. Do we want a guy who has 1 foot out of the league already, who's coming off of his worst season ever? I don't know ever. Let me look through before I'm saying ever. Okay, not ever. His rookie season, he only had 4 sacks. His rookie season, he had 6 sacks last year. So pretty close to his worst season ever. Is that somebody we want to bring to the Detroit Lions? I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. For me. Now, would I be freaking out if we brought him in for a 1-year deal? I wouldn't freak out about it. I mean, at the end of the year, I was watching Alquin Muhammad out there rushing the edge. So, I mean, if I'm choosing between Alquin Muhammad and a halfway in the league, halfway out the league, Khalil Mack, go with the Mac sauce, man. But nothing against Muhammad. I know he played tough for us, but if that's what we're depending on to be one of our main pass rushers, I think that we're in a bad way. Again, not knocking Muhammad. He played tough for what he was asked to do, but I'm not looking at him as a premier pass rusher in the NFL. And then that's what we need. We need pure pass rush. Right? We need Super Bowl caliber edge guys. And that's not what we're getting out of him. So it doesn't excite me. It's not something that I feel like really would push the needle. If anything, it would be support. It would be if he would ended up being a rotational piece that could come in certain moments and give us everything he got, or if he could be a guy who maybe got hot towards the end of the season, then that'd be cool. But I'm still standing on this. I'm all about free agency and going different routes. Josh Sweat, and I already know the story. Josh Sweat say he might take less money to stay in Philly. Yeah. They can only pay so many people. They got a lot of guys out there. So listen, if it's not Sweat, then to me it's probably in the draft. Khalil Mack, 1-year deal, 117 years old. It's not really moving me. Maybe I'm crazy, Steve.
William, are you nuts? Are you absolutely nuts? If you mention retirement, you're pretty much 1 foot out the door, and this is coming from Bill Belichick. I'd be a little salty too if I had to look at Tom Brady go to Tampa Bay after retiring and win a Super Bowl there, plain and simple. Bill Belichick, he didn't win shit when Tom Brady left, okay? That's a topic for another day. If we were a New England Patriots podcast, we could probably talk that 7 days a week. Yeah. But just because you think about, trust me, I think about retirement all the time. Well, you don't think I have to show up the next day and wake up at 4 a.m. and go to work. It's just what you got to do. When you're hungry, you're going to thrive. You're going to do your best, right? You're going to get some more hours. You're going to pick up some overtime. You're going to try to stack your bank account and get right for the rest of your life. Khalil Mack's done that. The only thing missing is a championship. All right. When he comes to Detroit, or if he comes to Detroit, you said he doesn't have to be the premier pass rusher. That's not what he's going to be here. We got Aiden Hutchinson. We got a Lee McNeil. Maybe we get a Josh Sweat. If we get Josh Sweat, I think we're probably out on Khalil Mack, but maybe we get aggressive in the draft. Maybe we get a Mason Graham. We've talked a lot about him. As unrealistic as that is, we threw out a good scenario in that video. If you guys want to check that out, I'll tag that at the end of this one. You get those 3 players, and Khalil Mack is number 4. Khalil Mack is your 4th best pass rusher. Thoughts and prayers, quarterback. Good luck. Absolutely good luck coming to Detroit on a Sunday, a Thursday, a Tuesday morning, Wednesday at lunchtime. Good luck throwing the ball against us with you better have an elite offensive line. And I mean elite, because if Khalil Mack is your 4th best pass rusher, you're in deep shit. I'll just say that. Will.
I get it. It sounds nice. Just not with it. I just think there's better options than Khalil Mack.
Who?
Josh Sweat.
Obviously that's a better option, but Brad Holmes gives those 1-year prove-it deals. He's done it the last 3-4 off seasons. It's what he does. Khalil Mack is not getting, if it's over 2 years, I'm going to be a little questionable, but 1 year, hungry. Hey man, you want to go on a Super Bowl run? You want to play with Aiden Hutchinson? You want to play with Lee McNeil? You want to play with a young rookie that we're going to draft that's hopefully a dominant edge or defensive tackle? You want to be our 4th guy where teams are probably going to forget about you and feast? You want to go out and maybe get 10 to 12 sacks and maybe earn yourself another contract either here or somewhere else? I think that would drive him absolutely wild to come here and possibly win a Super Bowl, because the only thing we need help on is the defensive side of the football. We're set on offense. Re-sign Zeitler, we're good. Maybe re-sign Timothy Patrick or draft a 3rd wide receiver in the later rounds of the draft. I'm fine with that, but I'm just picturing Khalil Mack as our 4th option, and I look at this defense as just a wave of pass rushers, like we've been talking about, just several guys who can get the job done. He fits that mold perfectly, checks all the boxes.
Yeah, I just don't think that Khalil Mack is actually going to be our fourth option.
Who would be?
If
you say Levi Onwuzurike, I'm out of here, Will.
No. So, you guys got to start putting respect on Levi's name, though. Are we contesting that Levi Onwuzurike was a starting D lineman for us last year?
Well, he had
before
to be.
Before Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, Levi Onwuzurike was a starting defensive lineman for us.
Not a productive one.
He was productive, man. And he did all of the things. It's not all about sacks. It's not all about the sacks. That wasn't his job. That was not his job. And Levi Onwuzurike, if you watch, I challenge people. I challenge you to this. Just watch the first 2 games of the season. When Aiden was healthy and we were at our healthiest, watch where Levi Onwuzurike plays for the whole football games, because you're going to see him at 5, at 4, at 1, back at 5, back at 4, back at 1. You're going to see him moving all along that defensive line, defensive tackle to defensive end, starting. Opening snaps of the season wasn't Marcus Davenport. It was Levi Onwuzurike out there getting the opening snaps. So, listen, put some respect on Levi's name. But when I say fourth pass rusher, I mean this. So, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be number 1, right? Aleem, when he comes back, he'll probably be 2, 3, whatever you want to call him. Still got Za'Darius Smith, unless he gets cut, which I don't really foresee him getting cut, but who knows? Depends on what happens in free agency and what we end up doing. So if we get Khalil Mack, I'm still not gonna say that he's not gonna come in and be better than Za'Darius or come in and be a better option at pass rush than Aleem McNeil. I think if you get Khalil Mack, he's probably your second best pass rusher, depending on what you do in the draft. But is it worth paying all that money when you could use that money to pay some of your guys that you're going to have to pay? Listen, Kirby Joseph needs a bag. He needs a bag, right? And then we got to figure out what we're going to be doing with Aiden Hutchinson and what we're going to be doing with Sam Laporta. They're going to be J-Mo. Yeah, they're going to be due for some money. So listen, 1-year deal. I get it. 1 year and he's off the books, and then you can still pay your people. But that's going to cut into what other guys do you get? You know what I mean? I just feel like there's better options to spend our money on than an older Khalil Mack, because even though he's only, and I use only sparingly, but he's 34 years old, and there's some guys who've been productive at that phase of their career. He's got some miles on him. He's got some miles on him. You know what I mean? He's a guy that's been taking a lot of meaningful snaps in a lot of tough environments. So I don't know, man. It's just not for me. Nothing against him. He'll go somewhere and probably be productive, man. But I just don't know if he's a double-digit sack guy ever again.
I just look at how available he's been most of his career. Other than 2021, his last year in Chicago when he got hurt, he's played 16, 17 games. All right. He's available. He takes care of his body. He finds ways to stay healthy. That checks one box. Next box I need to check is he productive? Multiple or double-digit sacks in multiple years. His second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth year, all multiple or double-digit sacks. 2023 had a career high 17. I get it. 2024, a little bit of a drop-off there from 6. So if that scares people away, I don't know. That's why I think he's the perfect fit for one of those Brad Holmes 1-year deals. The money doesn't concern me. What we just gave Marcus Davenport to play 1 game, I would give Khalil Mack to play at least 16 games and be more available. I'm just more willing to roll the dice on someone who's productive and available. Marcus Davenport was too risky of a move for me. The dude's never healthy. All right. Khalil Mack is the exact opposite. He's healthy. He's productive. I'd like to see him coming off a better year, but maybe that 6 sacks is going to maybe save us a little money where Brad Holmes can bring him in and say, hey man, like, we don't know where you are physically in your career. We don't know exactly what's going to drive you, but here in Detroit, we're looking to win a ring. We want to have that rally on Woodward, the parade. We want you to be a part of this. All right. 1 year, 10 to 12 million, prove it, come out here, dominate. Maybe we bring you back for another year, or maybe another team's willing to take a chance on you, but here you can come win. You're available. You're productive. He's not my number one free agent. All right, let's not get this twisted. We're talking about this because a lot of people in our comments have mentioned Khalil Mack. He is interesting. I understand the interest for a pass rusher. I'm all for it. If the money's right, sign him. Again, not my number one free agent need, but I would be okay with Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, sign him. How much you gonna pay?
I said 10 to 12.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, yeah, you gonna come off at least 10 mil.
That's fine. That's what we gave Marcus Davenport last year to get one game out of. So that 10 million could go to someone who's productive and someone who's on the field. No brainer for me, Will. Not even a thought. Pack your bags, come to Detroit. It's a little cold right now, but Michigan, other than the wintertime, is one of the best states to live in. All right. We got the UP, you can go fishing wherever you want or whatever the hell he's into in his spare time. We check a lot of boxes just as a state. All right. We're not Chicago. We're not LA. We understand, LA's, pretty and never been there or whatever, San Diego, whatever. I don't care. Come to Detroit. We're trying to gear up for a Super Bowl win. I don't think the Chargers are there. Everyone's always high on them, but they always shit the bed. Come to Detroit. We're going to win the division. We're going to have home playoff games. We're going to be dominant on defense. You can play with Aiden Hutchinson, probably the comeback player of the year, maybe even defensive player of the year. Give him his 10, give him his 12. Let's go. Let's win that ring.
Fair enough, man. We'll see what happens, man. I'm banking that he's probably not a Detroit Lion.
Well, I mean, the odds are in your favor. Your 31 other teams are probably interested as well, but
odds are always in my favor.
You never know, but I think it does cut those odds in half that we're a team that's ready to win. I think if that's his goal, that 31 to 1 goes to about 10 to 1. So I think we got a 1 in 10 chance of signing him if that's the way he's looking at his offseason.
Yeah, I get it, man. And all busting your chops aside, if I woke up and we signed Khalil Mack, I'd be like, okay, cool. I wouldn't be pissed about it. Like, man, what are we doing or anything like that? It's not crazy to think of or whatever, but a little bit older, got a lot of miles on him, a lot of tough football games. Was playing alongside another premier pass rusher and didn't have a lot of production last season. With a guy who's about the trenches and Coach Harbaugh. I don't know, man. Just
time will tell. Free agency's coming up.
Yep.
Also, one last thing off topic. Speaking of McDonald's, we started with like a Big Mac. I heard the streets have been talking that Will puts Oreo McFlurries on his fish fillet sandwiches from McDonald's. So stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.